Three, two, one.
Hello and welcome to Three S1 here on SPORTSTREE Ltd. Folks, I'm your man Connor Roundtree. We're going to jump right into this week's show with your Stump and Bump of the Week. Starting with your Bump of the Week, it has to go to Cristiano Ronaldo and Manchester United. We love a good reunion here on SPORTSTREE. The 36-year-old has returned to Old Trafford 12 years after leaving the club to join Real Madrid. He will sign a 2-year contract with the Red Devils. Congratulations, Cristiano Ronaldo and the Red Devils. You gotta love that. Manchester United back in business with their old star. He's coming home, folks. He's coming home. Our Stump of the Week has to go to the weather over Caves Valley Golf Club in Maryland. For consecutive weeks, the golf gods have just defecated all over us with hazardous weather conditions for the PGA's playoffs. The FedEx Cup playoff will continue on once the weather clears up, but come on, Mother Nature, let the lads play. Coming at number 3 this week on Three S1 is the BMW Championship playing at Caves Valley Golf Club in Maryland, as I said. The golf course first opened in 1991 and was designed by Tom Fazio. Fazio is known in the golf world as one of the more quirky designers in the game, and the PGA tends to veer away from his tracks. But this will be the 6th time players have taken on a Fazio design this year. And with that in mind, I'm going to lean towards guys that thrive on these courses, and especially the quirky layout heading in to this weekend. But our first pick has to be Jon Rahm. He finished in 3rd place at the Northern Trust, gaining over 3 strokes from tee to green per round on the field. He's in such great form right now with 4 consecutive top 7 finishes, including 2/3 and a win at the U.S. Open. The Spaniard leads the tour in scoring average this season, and while he is the betting favorite, it's just a smart play. I love Rahm for a top 10 finish. Our second pick is Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy won the Wells Fargo Championship and tied for 4th at the Olympics, both on tracks that were designed by Tom Fazio. He's also 10 under through his first 2 rounds, good enough for a tie for 7th entering the weather delay. Our third and final pick is Bryson DeChambeau. If he's on, which he appears to be, leading the tournament, firing a 12 under second round, sitting 16 under for the tournament through 36 holes. His distance will help him eat this track alive. Per example, the second hole par 4, the traditional way to attack this hole is to play up the fairway, wide around the lake, and lay up with a wedge into the green. And for most players this week, that will be the optimal strategy, but for Bryson and the Bombers, they'll have the ability to drive the green or settle into a front bunker and lay up for a birdie. It's only 295 yards to carry that lake, and that's just one example out of 18 holes on this course. So Bryson DeChambeau, he already put an eagle on his card on Friday, and I like him to go low into the weekend. Coming in at number 2 this week on Three S1 is the return of Formula 1 and the Belgium Grand Prix. Starting off with Mercedes, their driver Valtteri Bottas had the fastest time through the first practice session today, while teammate Lewis Hamilton struggled his way through the day. If Hamilton continues to struggle and his car can't go full throttle, look for the Mercs to adjust and lean on Valtteri Bottas. Bottas finished 2nd on this track last year, edging out Max Verstappen for that 2nd place on the podium. I like Bottas and Verstappen for top 6 finishes, and if it does rain, throw Lewis Hamilton into the mix in the top 6 as well. Coming in at number 1 this week on Three S1 is some combat sports. We have UFC Vegas 35 with the tough finale and Tyron Woodley taking on Jake Paul in a boxing match. Starting off with the tough finale, some amazing strikers are squaring off in the main event, but let's get it started with a few prelim picks for you. Manny Martinez versus Gino Canetti is the first fight of the night, and I like Martinez. He's a heavy hitter, and I like him to start the show with an emphatic bang. In the women's flyweight division, JJ Aldrich is one of my favorite fighters to watch. Tune in on Saturday to see why, and make sure you take her. Jamal Emmers versus Pat Sabatini is another prelim fight that I like. I like this one to go over 1.5 rounds. Sabatini absorbs less than 2 significant strikes per minute. This one should be drawn out and go long. As for our 3 fights to look out for on the main card, we're going to get it started with the very first fight on the main card. It's Muradov versus Meerschaert, and I like Muradov in this one. He has back-to-back performance of the night bonuses, and Meerschaert has been KO'd inside 90 seconds in 2 out of his last 3 fights. Next up, folks, in the co-main event, it is the tough finale, and I like Brian Battle in that one. He's a volume striker with excellent takedown defense. As for Gilbert Urbina, well, he was actually knocked out in the semifinal by Trace Gore, but Trace Gore is unable to compete this weekend. I think Battle has excellent movement, and we saw his takedown defense on display during the tough qualifiers, and I think that's Urbina's only path to victory, and I don't see him getting that takedown. Look for him to get touched up by Brian Battle, and I think Brian Battle will go on to be crowned the tough champion on Saturday night. For our main event, it's two of the best strikers in the UFC going toe-to-toe. It's Giga Chikadze versus Edson Barboza, and I like Edson Barboza in this one. Since moving down to featherweight, he has reinvigorated himself. I like Edson Barboza in a fight that will be back and forth and go long, so the safe play here is the over 1.5 rounds, and these guys are both experienced strikers that know how to pick their shots. They both average over 11 minutes of octagon time, so as I said, the safe play is the over 1.5, but I have to lean towards Edson Barboza. He's fought the very best of the best. Giga Chikadze, well, he is on the rise, and he is one of those hot prospects. Edson Barboza is just too clean with his Muay Thai striking, so make sure you lean towards Edson Barboza in the main event. As for this weekend's boxing action between Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul, to paint a little picture for you, there was an incident at the press conference where Jake Paul's entourage went after Woodley's mother, and that just isn't smart. Paul, for all of his credit and all the effort that he's put into his boxing career, has never fought a motivated professional fighter. While Woodley is no longer a UFC contender, he's been working with Floyd Mayweather, and he's been one of the best strikers in the UFC for over a decade. Him being such an underdog makes this a no-brainer for me. Can Jake Paul win this fight? Yes, but it all depends on what Tyron Woodley we see. With Jake Paul, we all know what we're going to get, a fiery, polarizing figure that's going to throw some hard punches and try to prove us all wrong. Tyron Woodley is a complete wild card in this fight, but the facts are he's one of the best knockout artists that the welterweight division in the UFC has ever seen. Period. That's just a fact. The facts of the matter are also that he has been unmotivated in his last few fights and he's been dominated. This isn't going to be a fight where he's going to get grappled, though. This is striking where he gets to stand toe-to-toe. He's been working with Floyd Mayweather, as I said. I'm taking him. Folks, as for our Monkey Knife Fight play of the day now, it is your chance to get in to win your share of $5,000 for a Knockout Kings contest. All you have to do is head over to Monkey Knife Fight and select 3 fighters. If all 3 of those fighters score a knockout, you're in to win your share of the $5,000. The first guy that we have to take is Muradov. As we said before, back-to-back performance of the night bonuses, and Mershart has been knocked out inside 90 seconds in 2 out of his last 3 fights. Our second pick is Martinez. Heavy hitter, first fight of the night. Look for Manny Martinez to start the show with an emphatic bang, as I said. And Kevin Lee is our third and final pick. Takedowns, ground and pound, good night. Kevin Lee wins that fight. As for a trivia question on this week's edition of Trees 3 to get in to win a pair of MLS or NBA tickets, we talked a whole lot of tough this weekend. The Ultimate Fighter, that is. Who was the woman that won Season 28 of The Ultimate Fighter? That's your question. Head on over to SPORTSTREELTD.com right now. Hit sign up or subscribe. And remember that upgrading your subscription is upgrading your chances to win up to $15,000 a year and tickets to see your favorite teams play live. Folks, I'm Connor Roundtree. Cheers. You've made it to the weekend.
3, 2, 1.